Somebody asked the Rebbe Hashem, why we cry by a sense of Harugei Malchus.
Are we crying?
Asar Harugei Malchus.
Yes.
And Yom Kippur, you read the story, it's so sad. Saying is that you don't know Rabbi Akiva, was it? And every year the same thing. Why? Because it's just sad story. It's Hollywood. So the Rebbe said the reason for crying is, why should Klippa have such power and be able to influence Kedusha? It's not Rebbe Akiva. It's Klippa versus Kedusha. So the question really is not good and bad, but true and false. How can what is false be mashpia on what is true? That it shouldn't be like that. Not mitzad ethics or mitzad teva. How can fake be stronger than real? How can emes be affected by sheker? And that's really the challenge. How do we fix a world? Not by fighting good over bad. That's not the bottom line. The bottom line is that the emes has to be emes. It shouldn't be affected by sheker. So some Romans can come and kill tzaddikim. It's not it's wrong. It shouldn't be possible. It doesn't make sense. So ultimately it has to stop, because it can only be temporary, or it can only look like the Klippa has some shlita over Kedusha, but really it doesn't. Why? Because it can't. So that's a bit of a hezbollah. What does it mean? You see something happen that is horrible. That something horrible can happen doesn't make sense. It shouldn't be possible. If you're going to be discouraged, if you're going to be worried, if you're going to be then you're making the kasha bigger. So whatever klippa there is, now it's affecting you and it's affecting your mood, and now if you're objecting, if you're complaining that the sheker shouldn't be able to affect klippa, then why are you letting it affect you? By becoming discouraged or negative or cynical. So the shayla really is, why do we live with a fake assumption that bad is real, more real than good, right? Most people, bad news, good news, You ask people, what's the good news? Nobody can answer. They have to think and think. Bad news? What is bad news? So the shayla is not what's good, the shayla is what's real. What's the emes? And if it's emes, what do you mean sheker came along and ruined it? What does it mean? You have a nefesh alikis, but yitzrei onsei, so you did an aveda. What in the world does that mean? That shouldn't even be possible. And as long as it seems to be happening, it should be very upsetting. not because it's bad. Even a kid can get upset about bad. We should be upset because it's not emes. It can't be. It can't be. So the Rebbe's response to everything negative is lahesif oir. That's what it means. You're upset that the klipa is affecting kedusha. Well, don't let it. Add kedusha. That a person can sin should be the biggest mystery and the biggest puzzle that. What's it? It shouldn't be like that. In some way, that's what Tanya is trying to say. Ben Hashures, tzaddik, not tzaddik, that's not the issue. The issue is, how does a nefesh elikis do an aveda? How does a nefesh elikis do an aveda? Not why. How? How is it possible? And after all the explanations, the shaila remains. Nefesh kisechta. Not why would a nefesh sin? You can find an answer for why. Even a good answer. You read the Tzedek Aliyah, fine. But how is it possible? Why are you so comfortable with the idea that a person can sin? And if you are comfortable with it, is according to Tanya, you're a Rosh Gomer. Right? In Tanya, a Rosh is not somebody who sins. That's a Rosh without Tanya. That's a Misnagdish Rosh. A Rosh al Pitanya means someone who could sin, even if he hasn't yet. Was heißt, you could sin? Well, I didn't do anything. It's not a shaila you did or you didn't. The shaila is, what's real? So what does it mean, you could sin? How is that even acceptable? How is that tolerable? How is... So what's going to happen when Mashiach comes? Oh, the Yetzer Hara is going to go away, everybody will be good. No, not everyone will be good. The emes will be emes, and the world will make sense. Kedusha is real, Klippa is not, and that's it. So not everybody will be good. There will be no bad. Because there shouldn't be. There can't be. So somebody put up this sikha that everyone was writing.
Yeah, but the bad happened.
Yeah.
I mean, something like yesterday. That's what we're talking about, right? The bad happened. So you can, so Mashayla V can sein, the bad can happen. But the bad happened.
That's the danger. The danger is, it happened, and we're convinced that that's normal. It's bad, but it's normal.
It's normal that bad can happen.
Yeah. There are bad guys, they do bad things. What a chiddush. That's a wilde chiddush. So to say, they're going to catch the guys and they're going to perform. They're going to catch them and punish them. That's the best you can be. So there's the sikha where the Rebbe writes about that something was going on, or he didn't say not fasting, but giving the money for Shalish Sudes and adding and Teda and Aveda and Milos Chasadim. Aber, and he repeats it a number of times, without scaring people. Not only because the Rebbe is a nice guy, he doesn't want to make you uncomfortable. If you scare people, Klippa becomes stronger. Emes because it's emes, not because you're afraid of sheker. So we set our goals too low. We just want ceasefire. Okay, no, we really want peace, but peace, leave me alone. That's it. That's beyond that. You can't think anymore. Tikkun olam. The sakin olam means there's going to be peace. That song, Mordechai Ben David. The goyim el ins nicht shepherd. That's Moshiach. It's a very low expectation. Letting the Eibishter off way too easy. Schaftem ve'ein machri. That's all I want. Let me sleep in peace. So it applies to everything, not just to international events. It applies to every day. This attitude like, hey, come on, nobody's perfect. What is this cavalier? Yeah, vergezindig. Nobody's perfect. It's not sane.
We hebben brengt het één zalig word, to bring out the value of tshuva, that everyone has a shaykh to tshuva for every words.
I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm saying it's weird. It makes no sense. And it can't go on indefinitely because sheker can't last.
Let's introduce tshuva into the conversation. The cool on Shabbat Taiva is that whatever happened was there to is a greater good that you didn't have the tools to protect,
So you're saying the same thing. You're saying these negative things that happen have to be justified and explained, that really it's only meant to be to relate to tshuva. Okay, so what happens when you do the tshuva? Now you're a good boy. When you do the tshuva, now the world is normal. Yeah. Without an explanation. You read the Tzedek Aliyah. Why does he read the Tzedek Aliyah? Because otherwise you read it doesn't make sense. It's not normal.
Right.
Not it's bad. It's not normal.
So a second, you did something means that it is normal. It's normal in the context. It's normal in the context of that there's going to be a thing.
It's normal with the grubber finger. That has to stop. Because it's not normal. Not because you'll go to Gehenna. The objection to an Aveda is, you're going to Gehenna. I was just arguing with a big Rov in Muncie. What says Gehenna is not forever? Of course it's forever. Gehenna is forever.
That was Jewish? No, I'm saying
a Jewish rabbi. With Dro in Oilon.
Who?
I don't know, he had some quote. But what says it's forever? That's Avodah Zarah Mamash. You believe that Ra is a Nitzchi? It's not normal. That Gehenna even exists is not normal. I mean, this is what we're trying to accomplish. The avodah, the davening, the learning, the chassidus, the farbrengens. What are we trying to do? We're trying to realign our thinking so that we know what's true, not what's good and high and madreges and virtues. Poshet emes. Even with Animamim Vihyyu HaMashiach, the Rebbe changed it. Zaynishken Maimen, Moshiach has to come. Not because we're desperate. Moshiach has to come because how long is the lie going to go on? Again, not why, how. If it's kol akitzim, so what's going on? And people thought, oh, the Rebbe wants us to have more emunah. No. He wants us to not need any emunah. Because when the emes is emes, you don't need emunah. How can you not have emunah? Well, what's going to happen when Mashiach comes? You're going to say, Ani Maamer Vihyyu HaMashiach. You'll stop believing in Vihyyu HaMashiach. So it'll be only Yud Basic. And then there'll be Tchias HaMesim, and there'll be Yud Aleph. And one by one, you eliminate them all. There's a clip online from a famous psychiatrist, Carl Jung. There's a clip where they ask him, do you believe in God? He says, that's very hard to answer because I know. I don't have to believe. I know there's a God. So good. If you know, then you don't need emunah. At least not in the common sense of the word. So the reaction to negative things is it can't be. This can't be. Not I don't like it, it hurts, it's terrible. Oy, oy, oy. Not oy, oy, oy. It's even the taich of ad mosai. Ad mosai. What does that mean? Say we want Mashiach now, okay. What's ad mosai? Ad mosai means, how can this go on? There's something seriously disturbed. There's something seriously not right. No. Ad mosai. It's a different, not ad mosai ich kenn she nicht. Ad mosai means, this is not right. So you can get away with it once, twice, or beviffel the shir. If it were normal, you can't say ad mosai. You can say what I would rather have. Chil nish das, chil das. When you say ad mosai, it means, why? Why is this continuing? because it shouldn't. Not I don't want. So we want Mashiach. Okay. Oh, but Ad Mosai means I do want, I don't want. Mashiach has to come. Why? I spoke for the young professional group that came in for Shabbos. The whole thing with Adam and Chava didn't do an Aveda. They knew what they were doing. There was Lafia Kavon. A number of them said, "That is so good. That's so nice, but that's not what happened." It would be beautiful if that were the case, but come on, they just plain sinned. I said, why? Why are you more comfortable? Okay, because that's the way they were taught. But in Inyan, you're comfortable with the fact that Adam and Chava did an Aveda. Why does that make sense to you? Even today, after everything is nefesh kisechte, bitmir. So Adam and Chava, no bitmir. Yeah, they didn't have it. That's the whole problem. That's where it started, and it's been downhill ever since. That Adam and Chava didn't have it. The pashtus, you're completely messed up. Mm-hmm. This is the it's not Teiv and Ra. The Eitz Hadas, Teiv or Ra, that's the whole challenge, to be good or to be bad. The challenge is, how do you understand that in Gan Eden there's an Eitz Hadas? That has to bother you, because it can be. Even the language. Now it's in the Goyish news. Rabbi in Dubai or whatever, rabbi, murdered. That's it. End of story. Later they add details. Murdered does not compute. It doesn't compute. Sorry. A rabbi does not get murdered. He did. So we're nuts. So the world is crazy. I don't know, is crazy worse than bad? The challenge is not to be good rather than bad. The challenge is, can you stick with the truth and not be confused by the sheker? That Adam and Chava didn't do an Aveda is the beginning of sanity. If Adam and Chava in Gan Eden can do an Aveda, then it's all over. Then give it up. Then sheker is as original as emes.
Let's kind of for the sheker for a second. Eberster Kadasim up to the level of Shalom Tassil, and that Eberster for cares because you can't say nothing to exist by him, and in a way sheker is showing on the limitlessness of the belief look out of Eberster. The biggest data would be you think there is the Eberster Tamas is also Eberster.
So make up your mind. It's sheker or it's the Eberster.
Sheker is in the deed. Not in the. Not, I don't know.
So if you were the reporter, what would you have written?
Story of Moshe.
Rabbi gives his life for his mission. It still doesn't explain why you have to give your life, but that's what happened. Not some Uzbeki guys killed him. Now you have to kill the Uzbeki guys? Oh, yeah. And that's also part of the tragedy.
That was tried before.
Huh?
That was tried before many times.
To kill the Uzbekis. They were just working for Iran, so now you have to kill Iran. But then China is going to support them, so you have to kill China. Before this year. The point is, and you're just confirming, sheker can't be sheker.
Sheker is not sheker, right? Sheker is not just sheker.
Right.
A lot more to the story.
Right. That's why when we're confused and we're convinced that sheker is real, and of course you do an aveda, how else? How else? That's the tragedy. It's alma de shikra. Not alma.
Even though it says it,
Because it's alma de shikra, that's why there can be Yeshayim Gavrim by, because it's alma de shikra. Because it can't be Yeshayim Gavrim. That can't be.
Right. That's not right.
It looks like the alma de shikra.
Right.
And the sheker has been going on so long that it has become the emes. So much easier to believe that a person can sin than that a tzaddik doesn't. Really? No? Huh? A little of it, no? Epis, no? It's almost like a rachmanis. Getting carried away here. You learn siddur, and it's almost a rachmanis. You're listening to the Rabbein, whichever Maamer it is, whichever generation. It's almost like they're trying so hard to make sense of this sheker. Tzimtzum, Helen, Tzimtzum, Achat Tzimtzum, Shtaushulas. It's almost like they're suffering through it. Because in the end, was darf man das? It's such a tragedy that we need this.
In the time of the second conference, we had the Biryanin, they said there's no such thing. Either Yidden, either Beis Hamikdash or bust. And Tzaddik Vayihyu, the great Rabbi Yechon said, no. The Goyim are going to be in charge, and the Yidden are going to determine it's just under them. So.
The Prat Mashiach is there.
Shaila,
Can't be. Why they burned out all the wheat? There's no such thing as a life under down the shikra.
Shaila is when Rabbi Yechon ben Zakkai said that, how much did it hurt him? Because, yeah, it's going to be, but it shouldn't be. what they ever said about the Nevi'im. When they said you're going to suffer and there's going to be a churban, it killed them. They didn't want to say those words. Aber,
ran away.
if you're a Navi, you have to say.
But in the bigger picture, this is the whole point, and this is what we're here for, and this was the whole kavanah.
Yeah, the whole kavana is that you should be megala the emes until there's no more sheker. Not be good. Malachim are very good.
Or bad. Yeah.
Bad malachim.
That's well.
Goodness is not the objective.
Harmful, destructive.
That's their job. Goodness is not the goal. The goal is emes. I think that that's the difference between Chassidus and the rest of Torah. The rest of Torah is Teiva Ra, Kosher Treif, Osir Mutter, Tzadik Rosha. Chassidus came along and said, what are you patching with this Marishvei? The issue is emes versus shame.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why the Anoshim Pshutim got it right.
They won.
They're not trying to be good.
That was evolution with Nachem.
Huh?
That was the master with Nachem. You had to know your shit. And it's in check. There's no play around.
Okay. Stimmt.
If you're saying that we're done with bad is just basically it's not our job anymore. Like it's been dealt with. Rabbi Yochanan sort of took upon himself that this reality of dealing with bad for 2,000 years and now it's over.
Bad is a symptom of sheker. So you want to fix the symptom or you want to get to the root of the problem?
So were they just were the Tanaim revealing truth the entire time? Was that their job? And the Rishonim Nachanim were just revealing truth? One piece at a time?
Maybe it wasn't time for the MS yet. So they had to deal with the symptom. So again,
except when he died for
the Deir Hashvi that is so different is because now the world is ready for MS. So stop patching around with the symptoms. We should learn something. Yeah?
Explaining the word Kolom Shav Noteva. Should ask us. It's just re-explaining, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
So we're on page Noach. Beis Vav. ויש לבאר זה על פי מה שכוסף בהמאמר, דבמלכוס ישנם שני עניונים הופכים. העניין המלוכה הוא הגבוה והסנסוס, which is a בחינס יש, ואף על פי כן המלכוס היא בתכלס הביטל. To be a melech, you have to have a very healthy self-image. And on the other hand, to be a melech, you have to have bittul. ומבאר שהביטל דהמלכוס הוא מצד שורשו ברדלו. Malchus itself is a yesh of Hagbo of his nasus. And the bittul in Malchus comes from its sherish in Radlo. Abba Yosef Brato. Malchus is the bas. And the bas comes from the father. Ish Mazriat Chila is Iledes Nekeva. So Malchus comes from Chachma. Like directly, skipping all the other steps. Which Chachma? The Chachma that is higher than Ishtalshalis. That's that law. Chachma before it's fixed into a svira of Chachma. In other words, the highest madrege of Chachma produces Malchus, and that causes Malchus to have a bittul. Shelochein habittul shelohu bittul be'etzem. Every svira in Seder Ishtalshalis has bittul. Because without bittul, there's tohu. If chesed doesn't have bittul to allow gvura, that's tohu. Shviras hakelim. So in Olam Hatikun, every svira has bittul. Befrat, chachma. Many places it says that all bittul comes from chachma. Chachma is bittul. It's a nekuda. It's chachma is hareya mashanelad. It sees itself coming yesh ma'ayin. There's a bittul in chachma, and you actually see the real geniuses. Even goyish are very humble, but just by nature. Engineers, not humble, because they're not chachamim. Mm-hmm. Bina is a yeshus. Chachma is so. Because when we say that Malchus is bittul, we don't mean it has the bittul like every other svir. In Malchus, the bittul is its metzias. What makes Malchus is its bittul.
Where do you see that here?
That's what he's saying, that the bittul of Malchus, because it comes from that law, it's a bittul be'etzem. Ube-bittul be'etzem, gam hayesh ube-bittul. Isn't that an interesting word? He's a yesh, but because his bittul is a bittul be'etzem, even his yeshus is with a bittul.
One way I could think about it is like if you have someone who was told his whole life to be Sagornish, so either two options, either he gives up, or he says, no matter, doesn't matter, I'm still gonna go for the top. No encouragement, I'm still gonna make it to the top. So there's nothing in him that for self-esteem. It just is with pure.
I think it's like Atzibel is also from the Rebbe,
Yeah.
but Chassidus is also like.
Don't shut yesh bebitl.
Huh?
Don't shut yesh bebitl.
It could be, right? But says sacrifice yourself and become Atzibel, but you have to learn Chassidus. You can go a little deeper on that one. Zay Atzibel l'shem shamayim. In other words, be Atzibel mit a bittel. Du willst nicht sein Atzibel. Sei nicht kein Yesh. And be Atzibel. Yeah, right. Yeah. Sei, the Eibishter wants you to be a Yesh. So sei na Yesh.
Yeah.
In other words, bittul be'etzem is not mevatel anything. There's nothing to be mevatel. If you have to be mevatel something, then you're not a bittul be'etzem.
Wo zet men bitl ba melech bosav adam?
Never.
Oh. No?
Where? David HaMelech.
Disagree.
There is?
Yeah, of course. Nicholas the First, one of the first. When it turned out that he has become an emperor, he was praying with his wife, tears streaming and stuff like this. Like, I don't want that, but whatever. It's just well. So whatever you would not expect but that's what happened.
How long did it last?
Huh?
How long did it last?
Didn't long. Didn't last. No, did not.
Yeah.
What I mean, at the time he was praying, he was sincere. No, he didn't.
We can always say the best example of a king is the Rebbe.
Frère Basar Adam.
Yeah.
No, but maybe that's not the
You know what I think? The really big kings were paranoid.
I mean, they
I thought
went
they
all the way.
had a very short lifespan. They knew they're going to get murdered, assassinated any minute.
Yeah, everybody was out to get them. In other words, they felt their own vulnerability.
Yeah.
And that was their bittul, that bittul of klipa.
Yeah.
There's this scene in Schindler's movie about Schindler, that he says to this Nazi in charge of the camp, he says, "You want to feel really powerful. You get really powerful when you can forgive. If you can pardon somebody, you know how much power that is? That's a key.
Yeah.
That you have the koyach to pardon."
And not punch. Yeah.
So the story is that he tried it for about a few minutes and said, and he shot the guy. I tried the bittul. He couldn't get that little bit of, even though that bittul would give him power.
Right.
Couldn't do it.
Right.
והנה בעבודה הוא, כמו בהמאמר, דעבודת השם צריכה להיות בשמחה דווקא, כמו שכתוב, עבדו את השם בשמחה. ועד שהשמחה בעבודת השם היא עיקר גודל. No, in Tanya for sure. Whenever you bring a posuk in Tanya, it's not meant to be a raya. Avodas Hashem has to be b'simcha. Haraya, it says, if it was Hashem b'simcha. It's not a raya. Because in Tanya, particularly, most of the psukim that he brings as a raya doesn't even mean what it's. The poshet, the pshat, and the posuk is not a raya. Like chelik alekah mimal mamish, posuk and Eve. The posuk and Eve doesn't say that you're a chelik alekah. It doesn't mean that at all.
So what's Pshat?
Huh?
What's Pshat? Why does Tanya bring in these Pesukim?
He's telling you a new taich in the posuk, not he's using the posuk as a raya. He's megala pnimis hatoila. So k'may shekoso means, and that's what it means. Ivdu es Hashem b'simcha, not a raya that you have to be b'simcha. And look what he does here. He says that avodas Hashem tzricha liyas b'simcha dafke k'may shekoso ivdu es Hashem b'simcha. Yeah. ועד שהשמחה בעבודת השם היא עיקר גודל. וכידוע פירוש האריזל, which also in Tanya, פירוש האריזל, עבדו השם בשמחה, tells you it's not what you thought it means. It's not when you're doing a mitzvah you should do it b'simcha. No, that's not what it means. It means simcha is an avodah. So it's a new taich in the posuk, not a rayit. והוא בתניא על הפוסק תחס אשר לא יעבד את השם אלוקיך בשמחה. ואיסא בתרא דזה שהאריז על זוכה לרוח הקודש הוא על ידי שמחה של מצווה. וכיוון שזהו סיפור בתרא שבעל פה מלושן הירו, הרי זה הירו לכל אחד ואחד מישראל. Why is שבעל פה in parentheses? If it's important, then why the parentheses? If it's not important,
including the Arizal.
I don't know.
The story from Teda, right? Stories in Teda.
Yeah.
So it's the title. You'd say like the Rambam is the Kabbalah or the Fellowship of Sab, or is it the Perishma?
Yeah, which sipur is he talking about?
He tells us.
Well, there's definitely Terei Shabbal Peh. I mean, what?
It's the entire earth. The Rebbe said that Perishma.
Yeah, does he?
What?
No, in Torah 8 it says Baal Peh.
This week's stuff. This week's too. There's one Maamer. Down in the first round.
So in Torah 8 it also says Shabbal Peh? And in parentheses?
Teda says the mice.
Right.
Sounds like the Magim put in Baal Peh. Like the Rebbe in the Fabring didn't say Baal Peh.
The parentheses is not answering a question. You're going to tell me the story in the Torah. It's not in the Torah. It's in the Torah Shabbal Peh. That's why it's not part of the line, but it is there. You should know it's talking. The Ikir said it's in the Torah. You're going to say, I don't see it in Chumash, I don't see it in Nach, I don't see it in the Gemara. It's Torah Shabbal Peh.
Could be. Or it could be Torah Shabbal Peh makes it more relevant l'kol echad v'echad. Torah Shabbat is why?
Torah Shabbal anyone can learn. Whether you understand it, whether you don't understand it, it's relevant to you. Torah Shabbal you have to understand it.
And it's more doable and understandable. No?
A very simple way the Rebbe wants to bring the Maamer without Torah Blush and Head off. There's a way to bring Torah. Where is it in Torah?
Anyway, B'chlal, when you read and there's a parenthesis, there's always that shaila. If it's important, why is it a parenthesis? And if it's not important, so Hareza Hirol Kavachad Yisrael El Shafal Pikein Yesh Zmanim Shahasimcha Tzrich Aliyah Behelim. Kama Shakosu Ivdu Es Hashem Biyira Vegilu B'Ra'oda. The Begilui Hu Hayira V'Hara'oda. V'Hasimcha V'Gila Hi Behelim. Ki Kasher Hasimcha Hi Be'ezgalus U'B'Murgosh Efshe Shemizeh Yovei Lahargoshas Hayeshes. Like people would say, after what happened, after hearing this news, what do you mean, let's be positive? Let's be positive, we'll do more good, we'll be Meisef and Kedusha. You don't care what happened? You're so callous? You're not going to give it at least a krecht? So it could be that this simcha makes you insensitive. So there are times when the simcha needs to be behelim. Al yedei ze efshe shedvorim bilti ritzuyim yavoyu al yedei ze. You can become callous and not good things will happen. V'lochein tzarech liyes ivdu es Hashem biyira v'gilu b'rada. Uverdei shehasimcha tiyah b'hizgalus. V'af al pikein lo yovei mizel hargoshas hayeshus hu al yedei shehu botel be'etze. She'oz gam hamurge shaloi hu bebitul. ועל דרך המבואר לעיל, בעניין הביטל דמלכוס, שגם היש תהגבו ויסנסוס בביטל. Or you could say in different words that there has to be a shminis shebeshminis, yeshes, but that shminis shebeshminis is with a bittul. It's only a shminis shebeshminis. There's the bittul right there. So when you say, you can have a shtickle yeshes. Okay, that's a bittul dike yeshes. So if the bittul is a bittul be'etzem, then it won't bring to a negative, because even if you're feeling good, that itself is with a bittul. Not callous. It's like Chassidim who are dancing and crying. The Rebbe gehessen vreilig zijn. So if the Rebbe gehessen vreilig zijn, what are you crying? So the crying was with a bittul. וזהו, הסופר והחידוש דדילו have חיים. By Sarah it says, Chayei Sarah means her life was hers. So the pirush of it is that her life was hers, and al zeh shezochsa l'chayin Elohin. Ki zeh shesara nochsas v'solkas. She came down.
Went down.
Mitzrayim.
She went in and out.
She went down to Mitzrayim, she came out of
Shalom
Mitzrayim.
v'yotze b'shalom.
שעל ידי זה זוכסה לחיים אלוהים הוא על ידי היראה והביטול. ולא על ידי השמחה. ולכן המשוכס החיים אלוהים שעל ידי נוכסס וסולקס בהמלכוס הוא בהמלכוס כמי שהיא בבחינס עלייה וביטול לזו. Malchus is be'etzem bittul. So what does it mean that there's a bittul in Malchus? Because it's oile to zo and is bottle to zo. It's an additional bittul. Malchus doesn't have to be oile to be bottle. Malchus is bittul. But in addition, in its relationship to the Svidas before, there's an additional bittul, which is for Malchus on Aliyah. Like, for example, Ba'avedas ha'adam hu, shehagili shemeir lo al yedei avedasei, hu kamei shehu b'matzav d'yira u'bittul, v'loi b'hametziah shaloi. Anytime there's an aliyah to what is higher than you, it adds a bittul.
No. This that you feel, the gilui, is because you're in a state of bittul. If you were a state of feeling yourself, you wouldn't feel the gilui.
Good. So how do you get there? How do you not feel yourself? You're oila, above yourself.
ובעבודת האדם הוא שהגילוי שמאיר לו על ידי עבודתו הוא כמו שהוא במצב דהירה וביטול ולא במציא שלו. That's, we're talking about the gilui. We're not talking about the avodah. The gilui that comes to you is because you're not feeling yours. I did the Torah, the milk flip,
And that's the avodah. Yeah? Doesn't happen by itself. To get beyond your metzias doesn't happen automatically. It's an effort.
What's the pshat? What the pshat? What you said before? Bittul be'etzem. Bittul be'etzem means that yesh is bebittul. What's meant? Atzilus of the ver. That's already
A vegetable.
no. It's already practically okay. Atzilus of the ver is yesh bebittul. But in avone. What's meant bittul be'etzem? What's meant bittul be'etzem? The bittul is be'etzem. The yesh is bebittul. Simon the is a good meister.
So touch up the word.
Yeah.
Bittul be'etzem means I don't have to be in this bar.
I don't have to be his man.
If you're not bittul, then you have to become bot. If you are bittul be'etzem,
Yeah.
you don't have to become bot. There's nothing to be mevatel.
Oh, that's
Yeah. If there's nothing to be mevatel, what's the difference whether you're a yesh, a mitzias, not a yesh, not a mitzias? If you want to be mevatel,
it's funny. I say bittul be'etzem means as ich bin nicht bot.
you mean nicht mevatel.
Ich bin nicht mevatel.
Mhm.
Ich bin bittul, nicht mevatel. Ich bin
Yeah.
bittul.
Yeah. Bittul is you.
Jemot is yeshes ich bittul.
Yeah. If you're really bitteldik, the Eibusher tells you to be a Baal Gaiva. Okay. Who's Gaiva? Gaiva. It's not Gaiva, it's Yeshes. The difference. Gaiva is an attitude. Yeshes is a Metzias. Willst du so sein a Metzias? I had this Satmar guy. He used to say, der van even wil, ben ik toch ja gegaan. Are you a chacham? Als wil, ben ik a chacham. Niet geen chacham. Als wil, zal zijn a chacham.
Yeah.
Why is only Malchus spoken best? Why is only Malchus spoken best?
This is what Marcus says. Hold on the street at that time.
Yeah, but the word is that the yesh can still be bottled, so it could be hot, it could be now, it could be anything else, it could be bottled. That's it. But the yesh isn't an issue.
So
Where's your shirt?
that's probably the meaning of the taich of Ein lo megarmo klum. Ein lo megarmo klum doesn't mean she has nothing. She has everything. But it's not from her. So Malchus is not a big empty hole. And bittul also doesn't mean an empty. Mitzad bittul, you can have everything. You're right. That's why mitzad bittul, you can accomplish everything.
But I'm thinking in contrast,
It's not shlilim.
the contrast in Chachma, which is mostly different.
Huh?
Contrast in
Fucking bittul.
like what's going because
What is the difference of bittul and chacham bittul, Malchus?
A bittul and chacham is not be'etzim.
say it's through the already saved the share like Nadia
Knowing
Yeah.
that chachma may ayin to motzei poils a bittul.
Just bittul be'etzem.
But chachma is always in touch with where it comes from, unlike bina. So chachma has a bittul to its makir, to its shadish.
Chachma
we
hat
all-
bittul, but nicht bittul be'etzem.
But we all have a bittul to our shadish. In chachma, it's always begilui, because a chacham Raya es hanoila. Bina also has bittul, but it's not always Raya es hanoila. So what does it mean here? The inyan de lo havachayim hu shahamshocha v'hagilui hu gam behametzius de malchus. What does it mean? The life was hers. Malchus is ein lo megar moklum, less lo megar moklum. And you're saying that her life was hers. She had her life. So where's the bittul? The bittul is kiven shahabittul de malchus hu bittul be'etzem lochin gam hamurgosh de malchus hu bebittul kanal. So she felt her life, and it was hers, and there was no yeshus. Even that was bittul.
Is it correct to say Chochmah has bittul on the way up, right? Because yesh me'ayin, the fact that it accepts there's an ayin, but on the way down, once Chochmah touched the ayin with bittul, on the way down goes into bina, it becomes yeshes. Mashenker Malchus has bittul both ways, sign on the way up and sign on the way down. That's bittul be'etzem.
Yes. So it could be when Chava ate from the Eitz Hadas, she took the toiv and left the ra. In other words, after Chava ate from the Eitz Hadas, there was no ra in her. Adam couldn't do that. When Adam ate, there was toiv and ra.
It says by Chava, it's also but not fresh. I'm not claiming to know what that means.
Yeah, something. It means something. But it's a modern ma'aseh with Adam and Chava. Chava ate and gave Adam to eat. But all the conversation the Eibishter has is with Adam. Why did you eat? And what about Chava? She wasn't even told not to. It's a funny. Who's running the show here? The Eibishter has a time to Adam that he ate from the Eitz Hadas. And what about her? So okay, fine. They were both punished. She was punished. But the conversation that was like she's not important. And yet she made it all happen. She's the main player here. Okay. He blames her. Yeah, because he knows. Without her, nothing would happen. So it could be when she ate, there was no damage.
Why are we twisting our heads to say such a shot? I'm saying the pashtas, we find many times, I know it's not in sync with today's thinking, but we find many times we don't have a wife speaking in front of a husband. And when you speak, when there is a conversation, it's with a husband or with the one that's greater, and not necessarily with every party involved.
Well, first of all, it says, the Medrash says that when Chava ate from the Eitz Hadas, she took the good and did not take the bad.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying, could be that that's why the conversation is not with her, because she's not a problem. But what's negated here, Adam couldn't do that. When he ate from the Eitz Hadas, he couldn't take only the good and not the bad. So now he has to be mevarer the bad. Noach, after the Mabul, tried to do what Chava did. to have the good of the Eitz Hadas without the bad. That was the whole shikir with the getting. He wanted to be above the. It bombed. It didn't work. So the Medrash says the next person in history who was able to take the good without the bad was Sarah. In other words, what was the Eitz Hadas? Murgish. Before the Eitz Hadas, they didn't feel themselves. They had no self. When they ate the Eitz Hadas, they developed a Murgish. So with Chava, the Murgish was Hagbo, Hisnasus, whatever, without the Yeshus. But by Adam and by Noach and whoever else tried along the way, even maybe Avraham, it was a stira. The Murgish and the Bittul were in conflict. So there had to be mevatel. V'anechi ofor ve'efer. Why do you have to say that? Right? Something has to be eliminated. Whereas with Sarah, nothing needed to be eliminated. Her bittul was be'etzem. What's the raya? Where do you see it in the pasuk? Keturah came back. Where's the pasuk? Just had it. And Yishmael went with Yitzchak to the funeral, which means he let Yitzchak go first. He was made that Yitzchak was the Yerush and not him. The fact that they came back to Sarah, to Avram, to Sarah's house, could only be if when Sarah threw them out, it was without Yeshus. Got to throw you out because I got to throw you out. There was no Yeshus.
There's no resentment.
There was no arrogance there. You're not going to inherit with me. That's what she said. So the Hisnasus was there, but there was no Yeshus. So at first they were turned off or insulted, but then they realized, wait a minute, she's right. And that can only happen if there was no Yeshus. If she had thrown them out with Yeshus, they would never forgive her. They would never come back. That's the emes. If there's no Yeshus with it, will always bring results. Maybe not immediately.
Chava wasn't successful. It says in the Zohar, I'm looking here at the first one, I said, the days. I quote there, ranks from the Zohar, that Chava tried, she didn't work out. Nav tried, didn't work out. Then Sarah successfully did.
Really?
Yeah, but I read it.
It's the Maamer said.
It's still fitting what he said.
No, he said maybe she didn't have the Yeshus, but she left it behind, so she left the Yeshus behind. In other words, but it was Chava. She wasn't.
It's the way it said. She had a mortgage. It doesn't mean she had Yeshua. It's right here.
I don't know what it says in Medrash. I know what it says in Isha Tanakh.
Who?
Isha Tanakh. That the Medrash says
Says Chava was a Simcha Pinas mortgage.
No, I'm quoting the Zohar. Don't bring the Zohar. Also, Chava, the Alma, we stopped.
Look at it.
Oh, okay.
Chava is Simcha Pinas. She drank in order to lose the mortgage.
No, that's not.
She wanted to have this. She had bittul. She had no yeshua. She thought it was like she thought it was a problem or whatever.
I don't know. We'll have to look at it. But what I read, maybe a Medrash, not a Zohar, that when it says that Sarah was very similar in appearance to Chava, it was because of this. She had that same bittul that Chava had. And no one in between So now, the way the story is told is consistent with what was going on. Abisha doesn't talk to Sarah, to Chava, even though she's engineering this whole thing. She's driving the whole story, but without Yeshus, so she doesn't get mentioned.
We're gonna talk.
Huh?
The dog is
Yeah.
talking.
But Yael insisted that after he passes away, they shouldn't write so safer about him.
About his life or
So the Shaila is,
Spittel Betzem was.
shouldn't we?
You right in the beginning. Tziva, Shaloi, Lichtel, Sefer. Obviously.
The Meshachisten did, you see? They wrote something. Because they helped us from the Alamaises.
Help me for them.
No. Yeah, so 70.
Oh, there's a lot. There's a lot to write. But if you have that kind of a bittul, nobody's going to write about you.
No, the writing is not.
No, that's why all the women in Torah, a name, a ma'aseh, that's it. Chavos, that's what they wanted. So every story that they do tell about a woman in Torah, it's like, whoa, why? This must be up to something special, different. Otherwise, what's
So don't forget, it's not Chava's fault.
what are you presenting me to the public? What are you presenting? So told Avraham, Goresh Sa'oma Hazes. What do you have to say that for? What's the difference? Who told him? He sent her away. No, in a medrash someplace you can say it's because Sarah told him. You have to say that also. Is it that it's Negeya? It is the story.